Mark, Alan, Michelle. Am I missing? I only got 9 here. Why, am I missing someone?
I got 19 total in the meeting. So Chris, Rich Penny, Alan, Jane Hackett, Julie, Schaefer, Ashley Cutter, Christine Flaherty, Danielle Biggins, Doug Lapp, Emily Davison, Jared, Jill Maroney, Mark Sham, Michelle, Tim Haynes, and Trish Pierce.
Now I'm starting to see him. I don't know why I wasn't seeing him at first. All right, let's, we'll call the meeting to order. Reminder, this meeting is being taped and can be played at a later date at WRPS or other media outlets. So a couple of things. One is we'll go minutes from the previous meeting.
Rich, before you start, do we have to name everyone who's on the Zoom call?
No, not that I'm aware of.
I know for previous meetings, so.
I believe.
Yes, you do. It's a new
Alright.
thing out, Rich.
Oh, I hadn't been told that. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I just add, Rich? This is Doug.
Hey, Doug.
It is a relatively new, it's a new thing, and it was in response to a open meeting law complaint that we received from a different board, and that was the guidance we got from the state. So we, even though everybody's names are printed next to
Okay.
our
So everyone who's on the call. Okay.
thumbnail images, you're supposed to list everyone. Sorry.
So we got Chris Benica, Rich Penny, Doug Lapp, Sean Burke, Jill Maroney, Lorraine Finnegan, Julie Schaefer, Donna Lamb, Christine Flaherty, Trish Pierce, Jane Hackett, Tim Haynes, Mitch Miller, Mark Sham, Alan Cron, Michelle Shifley, Emily Davidson, Ashley Cutter, Doug Wallow, Emily Davidson, Jay Williams, Jared Valenzola. I think I got everyone.
I'm on, Danielle Biggins.
Danielle Biggins, sorry, Danielle. So that is everyone that is on the meeting. So the next is approval of the meeting minutes from March 11th.
I make a motion to approve the minutes of March 11th, 2021 meeting.
Got a motion from Chris Benica. Do I have a second?
Second.
Who is that? Who seconded?
I did, Julie.
Oh, Julie Schaefer. I got a second. All right. And for those that were there. To Chris Benica,
Yes.
Julie Schaefer,
Yes.
Alan Cron,
Yes.
Doug Lapp,
Yes.
Tim Haynes,
Yes.
Ashley Cutter,
Yes.
Christine Flaherty,
Yes.
Emily Davidson,
Yes.
Danielle Biggins,
Yes.
Mark Sham, is Mark, I thought I saw Mark on it. Oh, there it is. Jill Maroney,
Yes.
Michelle Shifley,
Yes.
Jared Valenzola,
Yes.
Doug Wallow,
Yes.
and myself. All right, so those are approved. Next is we go to project updates, and I'll turn that over to Sean.
So just before we start on the project updates, we just want to make everyone aware that the bid award of the project was challenged by some other bidders, and due to active litigations, we're not going to discuss the details of any of those cases in this meeting. There was a hearing this past Tuesday in Brockton Superior Court, which was cut short due to time constraints. The hearing has been continued to tomorrow at 11 a.m. So town council is hearing this on matter on behalf of the town, and will provide an update to the committee after the hearings have concluded. We just can't go into details during this meeting, but I know that some people are aware this is going on, so we just wanted to address that portion of it.
Sean, can I ask a quick question?
You can ask it if I can
ask.
answer it. I will.
There's not going to be an answer.
No, there will be an answer. One, are we allowed to attend these proceedings in person, or are they behind closed doors? Two, if they're over Zoom, would it be possible to share that information? I'm sure I could find it on the courthouse website, but it'd be easier if we had that readily available.
There is a Zoom link, and I will ask, if it's all right with you, I'll just ask town council if it's okay to share that. And if they say it is, I will share it with you.
Perfect.
Does that work?
That works for me.
All right, fantastic.
Thank you.
Okay. So that being said, Brate Builders is your contractor on this. If you've been by the site, they do have a construction fence set up. They're setting up erosion controls. They've dropped off some trailers. And a lot of the other work they're doing right now is kind of the behind the scenes stuff. They're pulling permits and they're getting ready to start their stripping and stockpiling. But before they do that, they need to make sure all the erosion controls are set up, inspected by the design team, and inspected by the Conservation Commission. So that sort of those things are in work. We have a site work kickoff meeting scheduled for sometime next week. It's tentatively scheduled for Monday, just working around people's schedules. And that gets everyone on the same page, make sure that we're hitting the ground running on this, but we're not going too fast, that they haven't done all their proper submittals and all of the approvals that they need prior to doing this. So they've told us they've also pre-ordered their steel, and they have it scheduled for delivery in July. So they have to hit that date. And we're waiting on their final schedule submission. And once we get that, we'll share it with the committee, just to talk through what the general schedule for the project is. They had some preliminary drafts of that. They've been going back and forth with their schedule. They use a third-party scheduler. And I talked to them yesterday. They did get a copy they were going to share with us, but he still thought he had some deficiencies in it. So rather than sending us something that isn't correct, he did what I think is the right thing and sent it back to the scheduler to make those adjustments before he sent it to us for our final review. So I think that's kind of where we're at with the project. There's it has started up in earnest, and we are we're kind of just waiting to make sure all those submittals are proper before they start cutting the topsoil, then trenching for foundations. Any questions not related to anything we can't talk about?
No, but it's exciting to see the work started over there.
It's been a long time and a long process for everyone, and we are very excited to see the sign up, see the trailers there, and it's starting to get very real, and we're very happy about that. Okay. One thing we did want to talk about is our subcontractor review. So before we go into this, PMA has a contract with the town. We've already been signed up. So all of our subcontractor costs are already included in our contract. So we don't necessarily need approval from this committee, but we wanted to run through when we do add these subcontractors on, to let you know who they are, what their purposes here, and what the value of those contracts are. So it's no additional cost to the project. Everything's already included, and no real approvals are required here. So one is for Briggs Engineering and Testing. They are a construction testing agent. They do soils testing. They'll do bottom of footing testing. They'll test materials that we're bringing in. They do the concrete, the inspections, rebar inspections, steel inspections. Basically all of the construction inspections we need, window testing, roof testing, all that sort of stuff. So that gets coordinated through us. That's pretty par for the course. We had a $250,000 budget allocated to that. We've assigned a $200,000 contract award based on our estimate of what we need. But we have a little extra cushion in there for other testing that might be required. Our other contractor that we're bringing on is Onsite IQ. They are a photo documentation company. So once a week, they will walk through the construction site and walk through the building, and they take a series of photos, and they do it with, it's kind of like a Google Maps type situation. They have a series of GoPro cameras that is mounted to a backpack that somebody walks around with. And then that gets turned into a map where anyone who has access to the site can walk through the building once a week. So particularly with COVID, and even when we're building construction projects where it's not really appropriate to be bringing a full committee through, the committee can have access to that. And so on a weekly basis, you can really just walk your way through the site, see what the progress is. Another added benefit to that is it gives you a history of the project in a very detailed manner, where they walk through every room, every space. And later on, when Mark needs to know what's behind that wall, he can go right to a date when that wall's open, and he has a picture of it rather than trying to poke holes and find that sort of stuff out. So We've used them on a lot of our projects. It's pretty economical. They charge about $1,000 a month. It's about $250 a walk. And that includes the person coming to the site, walking through the software and the access for anyone on the project that wants access to it. And then all of that gets turned over at the end of the project so that the town retains that for their record. So we do also find it great when we have change orders or other things that arise where if the slips come in late or you don't get the cost, you can really tell what was going on at the time that the work was done. And it gives you a great sense of where we're at with the project, where just walking around and taking me taking photos once a week or our clerk taking photos once a week doesn't give you the level of detail that this gives us. So we think it's a great thing for the project to have. So we're gonna add that as part of our extra services. But again, it's already included within our fee. So we're not asking for more money. It's just letting you know these are one of the subcontractors that we're contracting out.
Hey, Sean, this is Doug. Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
Just as it relates to Briggs, if my memory is right, which it might not be, but I'm pretty sure I worked with Briggs on a previous project in my last town. And I remember that like every time they would dig a hole or do a test, it would generate like a separate invoice. So like in a given month, they may have done like 5 different ones and it would trigger like 4 or 5 different pieces of paper and they all had to have like separate checks. And it was a total pain in the neck. And I think if you can encourage them to bundle, it would be a lot easier administratively, especially for the accounting department.
We'll take 1 bill a month and we will process 1 bill a month from Briggs Engineering and Testing. That's good. That's a good heads up. We're working with them right now on Somerville, and that has not been the case here. So I think we'll be in good shape. Another thing to note is that Briggs is actually a Rockland company.
Rockland Company, yeah.
So it's good to have. We had 2 people who were kind of neck and neck, and we've worked with Briggs. We like them a lot, and I think it's great to have someone who's a local company working on a local project. So we're happy that they were able to be our testing services provider for this project. All right. Any questions on that? Okay, so invoice review. Most of them are pretty standard. PMA and SMAs are our monthly invoices. This is per the cash flow and per the contract that was presented to the town. I don't know how many months or years ago. Everything lines up and checks out. BETA is actually the town's Concom consultant. So the town has a conservation commission, but they do not have, I guess, the expertise to review the drawings in the manner that they might want to. So they sub this work out. So this becomes part of the project cost, and these are the bills. You look at the dates, they're from July and August of 2020. I just got them 2 weeks ago, so we're trying to process them and get them paid. I went through them. Everything seems to be in the order of magnitude that you would expect for this type of review. The last one is for Brait. This one's for $583,000. None of the billing that Brait is looking for is for any work in place. All they're billing for is their bond and their insurances. That being said, Brait still owes us the project PMA, SMA, some more information in order to get that bill paid. So the reason it's on here is so that we don't have to have another meeting next week. We do anticipate having all of this information by tomorrow or early next week. But rather than not putting this on here and asking for another meeting next week, we thought we'd bring it up, let the committee know what it is. It's just for their bonds and insurances. And I'm gonna, I will say that the town accountant should not pay this until I give them the okay, and we'll deal with that behind the scenes. It's on a public project, the town is actually required to pay within a certain amount of time. So it becomes an issue when you have once a month meetings and an invoice becomes problematic because it doesn't alleviate you from any of the requirements to pay these. So the number's not going to change. The number's good. It's just waiting on some paperwork and waiting on some items, and we will not recommend payment until we have those items. And assuming that you trust that PMA will not recommend payment, then I think we're good to go on this. So any questions on invoices? All right, groundbreaking. So we had tentatively planned for a groundbreaking as I think on Monday, but with the bid protest that we received, we didn't think it was wise to have a groundbreaking if there's a potential for something else to happen. So with that being said, I think once we get a decision from the court on what's going to happen with this award, I can work with Doug and the school department and Alan and figure out the appropriate date. We had it targeted for a Monday. That was and it was either during the day or after school hours. That was still in flux. Working with the WRPS to make sure it's televised, and I think everyone will be invited, but you're welcome to either, attend if you want to, but if it's during the day, it might be a little bit difficult. We are limited to how many people we can have attend this, so it more be a ceremonial. We'll record it. There'll be a podium. We'll have some shovels. Some people may say a few words, but the idea is just to have a groundbreaking, and then show the video to everyone to get excited about the project. And once we have a decision, I think it'll be a Monday, a week or two afterwards, so we can get everyone geared up and ready to go. And that's the plan for the groundbreaking.
And Sean, we'll be able to stream that too, so that won't be a problem. We'll record it as well as stream it out too.
Okay. And once we lock that date in, we will let everyone in the committee know. We can talk about whether or not we should post it on Facebook or not. You don't want to have too many people down there with the COVID restrictions, but we will also invite the Mass School Building Authority, MSBA, to the groundbreaking, because they do tend to like to attend these events, and we'll just let them know what's going on. Okay. Any other questions or comments on groundbreaking? All right. Next step should be 7, but I messed up. Sorry. So next steps are, we're just going to continue on with the construction project. As we, as more and more work gets going on, we have our clerk from PMA who's there. He's there full-time on Wednesday. He's here half a day today. I'll be down there tomorrow on the site. But as that ramps up, our presence will become more and more known. As soon as they start bringing people on site and start cutting dirt, PMA will be there full-time every day, all the time when construction work's going on. We'll have a clerk there full-time. I'll be down a couple days a week, once we really get rolling. And we think that's going to happen within the next 2 weeks. And I think that's it. Lorraine, I don't know if you have any next steps or any requirements of the town you want to bring up?
No, I think just to Doug, I think we had responded to the abutters on Reed Street, and just, whatever you want us to do, next steps, just reach out and let us know.
Sure, and just so everybody's aware, there was one abutter does have a concern of relating to the impacts on their property and to the town property that abuts their property. So Rich Penny and I are actually going to be meeting that individual shortly, and we'll address that person face to face and explain what's going on. So we appreciate the input. I don't think we need anything further from you guys, unless after the meeting, Rich and I need some additional material.
Okay.
But thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. Is there anything else?
Rich, when would we have to meet next?
We're going to keep it the third Thursday of each month. So we'll keep that that schedule going. So that would make it May 20th.
Can I just ask a quick question? I know the governor's emergency order is what affords us the opportunity to meet over Zoom. I know there are certain committees in town that are starting to move to meeting in person, and I was wondering if there's been some thought given to this committee returning to in person. I know it's my understanding the governor's order, I think, is through the end of May. So I think that's something we may need to start considering and thinking about as that order gets lifted. And these meetings are no longer considered appropriate. Over Zoom, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, we'll once we get it, we'll make a determination. One of the challenges that we face with the size of this committee is the number. We've got over 20 people on the committee. Then when you start to add into, all the others, we easily can exceed 25 individuals. So if we're going to do that, we got to really plan where's the space to be able to do that. How do we effectively do that? So unlike some of the other committees in town, that have 3 or 5 members, this becomes a little more challenging. But yeah, it's something that we've got to start talking about and planning on what we might be able to do, and how to safely accommodate that.
No, I understand. Like I said, I think I wanted to bring it up now because the next meeting is May 20th. And again, my understanding is the governor's emergency order is through the end of May. So once that's gone, we have to meet in person. There's no cover unless he extends it, which I guess is always possible. But I think as other committees begin, I understand the the limitations, but the auditorium is really large as well. We have town meeting. We've been able to conduct that. So I just wanted to put that out there to have it on everyone's radar, because I think that's going to be something that we need to think about and consider very, very soon. It's not far off.
Was
Noted.
that, Jared, end of May currently?
Yeah, my understanding is his order is through Memorial Day weekend. I think it's May 31st. Doug Lapp may be able to correct me if I'm wrong, but my understanding has been the order is through the end of May, and that's the order that'll affords us being able to meet over Zoom. He could do obviously extend it or, you know, make any changes to that as he sees fit. But my understanding now is it's through the end of May, and that's what gives us the opportunity to be meeting over Zoom.
Well, I think
That's actually news to me. I hadn't heard the May 31st deadline, so I'll certainly look into that, because that'll obviously affect every board and committee in town. And I obviously talked to all the other town managers in the South Shore, and that's not something that's come up in any discussion. So I'll definitely look into that.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I could be wrong, but my understanding has always generally been the order was extended through May of this year. On another side, or another matter in which in my other roles, we had extended certain provisions for county employees to be through the governor's order, which was the end of May, and that the provisions that we had given to them sunsetted with the sunsetting of his order, which again, my understanding was the end of May. So just something to put on the radar for everyone to consider and be aware of, because I think it's something that's obviously going to be relevant, not just to us, but as Doug, you just said, to every board and committee.
I think that gives us time to, Jared, for us to meet with Doug and Rich and figure out the space here in the school, talk to Dr. Cron, and see what we can do.
Great, thank you. That's all I have.
So for next meeting, it would be May 20th. It would predate the end of May, so that we would.
Yeah, it won't be an issue. And
The
then the
plan is
next
to
one
still
after
have it on
that's
Zoom and-
towards the
yeah.
end of June. Yeah,
Okay. Sounds
so we
good.
have plenty of time to
Oh,
get the information if that's the case, and then make a determination on what to do.
Excuse me, Sean, it's Julie. I was distracted when you were talking about the date for the groundbreaking. Is there a date? Are you going to arrive at a date?
Not yet. We're gonna wait post when all the litigation is cleared and we know what direction that the town is going. That would, to us, be the appropriate time to schedule that.
Okay, thank you. Sorry.
We will let you know as soon as we have a date. It'll likely be on a Monday. That was the target day day of the week to have it. So
I'm going to be away most of the month of May. As a matter of fact, I won't be back in time for the May 20th meeting, but
well,
I will, although I might be on Zoom where I'm going.
Chris said he's going to live stream it, so we'd love for you to watch it while it goes on if you're out of
Okay.
town.
All right, great.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to adjourn.
Before I do that, I just want to make sure if there are any other additional comments by anyone.
I just have a comment. Rich, after tomorrow, will you send out another update regarding litigation so we know the status of it?
We're not sending any update until we get the information.
Yeah.
Yeah, so as soon as we do, Emily,
Yeah.
So just because there's a court date tomorrow doesn't mean that anything's going to happen.
True.
So don't hold your breath. We don't know what will happen tomorrow.
And just to clarify, that's Brockton Superior Court, right?
Yes, I believe so.
Yes.
Okay, not
Yeah.
District Superior.
It could be a couple of weeks until there's a decision. It's unclear.
Absolutely.
as Rick said. Yeah.
we get closer. We can raise them.
So we can, don't want to get into it and we can go back and forth. Here's what I can tell you. As soon as we get information, we will disseminate it out to everyone, but it could be weeks. We could be having our meeting next month, and the same comment that was just used by Sean may be used next month. We don't know. But as soon as we get information, We will make sure that we disseminate it out to everyone. And then at that point in time, we can then look to get a groundbreaking and get this project rolling. Okay?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. So with that, I do have a motion to adjourn by Chris Benica. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second.
Got a second by Jane Hackett. Doug Lapp,
Yes.
Emily Davidson,
Yes.
Jane Hackett,
Yeah.
Chris Benica,
Yes.
Julie Schaefer,
Yes.
Christine Flaherty,
Yes.
Jill Maroney,
Yes.
Tim Haynes, Alan Cron, Michelle Shifley,
Yes.
Ashley Cutter,
Yes.
Doug Wallow.
Yes.
Oh, man. Did I miss anyone else? Jill Maroney. Did I get Jill?
You
got
didn't
me.
get,
All over the place.
you didn't get me, Mr. Chairman, your favorite member.
You didn't get me either.
Yeah, Danielle.
Yeah.
Biggins,
missed me too. You
missed me Jared.
too.
Jared's a yes.
And Jill.
For the third time. Yep.
All right.
Trish,
I
you
think that is everyone.
I think you missed.
This
one.
thing was
Except for me.
all over the place. Who did I miss?
You missed Trish Pierce.
Trish Pierce. Sorry,
Yes.
Trish.
Yes.
All right. That was a disaster. All right.